Good evening, friends. This is the Baptist Chapel, Houston, Texas. Baptist Chapel is online because I believe and I pray that I should do something instead of waiting for a particular job. I believe God wants me to work this. And keep me in your prayers, because without your prayers, I'm nothing. If you feel that there is any mistake, any error, or any blunder that I make, please tell me so that I may correct myself. I finished my seminary in 2015. So I'm not a very old dude in the art of preaching, evangelism. But I look at people, how they do, and I imitate them. And sometimes I try to create my own ways. And I believe God helps me. Today, the heading of our talk is appreciate. Appreciate. Be thankful. Appreciate God's creation. The text is Psalm 19, verse 1. The heaven tells of the glory of God. The skies display his marvelous craftsmanship. Since my childhood, when I was growing, I was impressed of two very great people. Number one, I was impressed of Elvis Presley, because when I heard a gospel singing, I was very much impressed. I wanted to praise God with my voice, but I do not have a strong voice like you. But I thank God that I can speak. Then I was very much impressed of Michelangelo, because my father often talked about Michelangelo's craftsmanship. When I was growing, he showed me pictures many times, and he showed me how much he liked Michelangelo. So automatically I started liking him too. So when I read this verse, the heaven tells of the glory of God. The skies display his marvelous craftsmanship. It tells me my God, my Yahweh, is also a great designer, a great craftsman who has crafted this so much beautiful things before I was born. I would enjoy this, then he would have his plans for me. What his plans are, sometimes we do not know. Jesus said in John chapter 1 verse 18, nobody has ever seen God. So in my worldview, this verse is on the top. Nobody has ever seen God. If man has made theology and the philosophy and the logic, it is all because of the inspiration. Inspiration can be 100% right. There can be errors, because human beings are inspired. So when I listen to any kind of logic or philosophy or lifestyle or ethics or morality or religious dogmas and principles, First of all, I keep in my mind, nobody has ever seen God. This person who is presenting me, he is presenting and showing me that God has written that. I don't believe these things. I believe Bible is the word of God. I believe men were inspired and they have left the legacy for me so that I could leave the legacy for the coming generation. And I thank God that in the Christian faith, people are very logical, people are very rational. That's the only way we can get the truth. Otherwise, by the abstract theology and abstract philosophy and abstract ideology, it's very hard. When Noah was in the ark and it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and God had commanded him to take certain animals into the ark. When he came out, the first thing that he experienced was a rainbow on the sky. And I believe Noah was happy because for 40 days and 40 nights he saw only water. And every life died except whatever was in the boat or whatever was in the ark. I know this story is very old. I do not need to find literally everything accurate about it because the time is gone. I do not know anything about it. All I need is a little allegory, paradox, metaphor, so that I could understand how God created the world again from Noah onward. The writer of the Genesis is blindly crafting beautiful things. Blindly, I don't mean that he's blind, he doesn't have eyes. I told you already that John 1:18 says, nobody has ever seen God. I have not seen God. But I can imagine about him how he's crafting all that. In the beginning, he took nothingness and created everything. He expected obedience from mankind, but we didn't do our task. Our faithfulness, which was expected, turned into disobedience. But later we see in many places great prophets, Isaiah, Daniel, Ezekiel, even Samuel. When God called Samuel, he called him 3 times. And the great prophet said, "Here I am, Lord." We, all the human beings, tried to be faithful. We tried to be faithful. God does not expect perfection from us. That is why he is giving life moment by moment. And he has crafted this beautiful world for us. But our duty is to come out of this sinful realm so that we could show him the image that he created us on, according to Genesis 1:27 or 28. So, crafting, how can we craft? I mean, we see that our Creator is a crafter. And he says in Genesis 1:27 or 26 that he has created us on his image. This image does not mean the portrait. that icon which he has, that form, invisibility that he has. It means that our thoughts, our ideas, imaginations, and logos that our conscious create, imaginations and kalam in Arabic or in Aramaic or Hebrew, the word is kalam, the word logos that comes from the conscious of human beings when they are inspired and when they have link with that great almighty God that is sacred. Sometimes it is difficult for people to understand at one time, but when they give a little thought, a little heeding, they can understand, because there is the touch of Almighty Yahweh in it. When I think about Michelangelo, it reminds me Angelo's art. I told you when I was very little or when I was very young, my father always showed me the portrait of David or the statue of David. Many other little statues of different people, art, especially Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and many other people of that time of 15th century. I was very much impressed of that because my father always thought that when I would see these images, these statues, this beautiful art, I would be influenced by these great people. And I was really influenced by them, by their art, by their skills, by their lives, by their chisel and hammer, by their work, and by their strength that God had given them. This human mind is nothing as long as we do not have a strong strength in it from the source. Different communities, different religions, different faith, different cults, they have their different ideas. And I cannot say that only Christians are the one, they are 100% true and others are wrong. Every person is seeking the source. Every person is trying to find God. And when they find, when they struggle, He doesn't let them go thirsty, because He's their God too. If He is my God, He's the God of you too. So let's talk about how crafting is, because I want you to come to this point that God has created this creation, crafted this creation so that we could enjoy. When a person enjoys, he's always thankful, he always appreciates it. In Samuel 10 verse 3, it says, "For the statutes of the people are vanity. For it is a tree cut out of forest, worked with a chisel by the hands of the artisan." Then it says, sometimes we are so much influenced by the craftsman, his craftsmanship, that we just dance with it, with the creation that he has created. But the purpose of the Creator is so that we may know him who has made the creation. We should not be influenced by the creation. We can say that it's beautiful, we can say, but we should not go and bow before the creation. Exodus 32 verse 4 says, you remember when Israelites, they were walking and they were tired, they were frustrated, they were hungry, they were thirsty, and they persuaded Aaron to craft a calf because their faith was staggering. And he took them out of they gathered all kind of treasure, silver, gold, copper, and he took them out of their hand and fashioned it with a chisel. And they said, fashion it with the chisel and made of it a molten calf. And they said, this is thy God, Israel, who has brought thee up of the land of Egypt. So they started worshiping the creation that was created by Aaron. Instead of saying him, Aaron, you stand in the front and lead us to God, who has brought us here. But they were so addicted, so habitual, that they wanted to worship the creation. So they worshipped it. 1 Kings 6:7 says, the house when it was in building was built of stone, made ready at the quarry, and there was neither hammer nor axe nor any tool of iron heard in the house while it was building. It means the creator was God. It doesn't mean we take that creation which was so influential and we start worshiping it. We need to worship the creator who made it. Isaiah 44 verse 12 says, the ironsmith hath a chisel, and worketh in the coals, and he fashioneth it with hammers, and worketh it with his strong arms. But he is hungry, and his strength faileth, and he hath not drunk water, and he is faint. When a man crafts something, he get tired. His chisel can break, his hammer can break, his breath can break, he feel hungry, he feel thirsty. But the craftsman who crafted the creation, the whole universe, there are planets in it, there is so much in it, I cannot name you all that. But he has created it with nothing, with no noise, with no chisel, with no hammer. He's not tired. We get tired. My friends, we need to appreciate that creator who created this world. And I still remember the quotation of Michelangelo. He said, this is well with me only when I have a chisel in my hand. This is well with me only when I have a chisel in my hand. When I have a chisel in my hand and I have a hammer in my hand, this is the beauty. But my Creator, whose name is Adonai Elohim Yahweh, he doesn't have a chisel in his hand. He doesn't have a hammer in his hand. He doesn't breathe like Michelangelo. He doesn't eat like Michelangelo. He doesn't get tired like him. But he crafted the whole universe. And in that universe, you and me too. And He knows us. Before we were born, He knitted us in the womb of our mothers. What a great beauty. And we should appreciate that Creator who has created us. Art is a creating idea. Art is creating an idea. When you are making something, when you are, suppose you do not have a quarry, you do not have stone, you do not have a hammer or chisel in your hand, but you are sitting on your table or desk in front of your laptop or in front of your notebook, you are creating an idea in your mind. Before you create that idea in your mind, you need to spread a canvas. That canvas is called viewpoint or point of view or worldview or whatever you want to name it. It starts with a great idea that God is great, greatest or the greatest. There is no words actually that can comprehend Him into them. Our mind can do, but sometimes it's so difficult to spit it out. So you are creating an idea. In that idea, for example, Michelangelo, one day he was walking in Italy, he was walking around and he saw on a shop there was a big stone. That stone was there for months. Nobody bought it. Michelangelo went to him and he asked the price, and that man said, "You can take it free or whatever you want. Take it. I want to sell it. It's so heavy," and nobody bought it. He brought some people. They pushed it to his place where he was crafting it. He crafted it, and he crafted a beautiful angel from that stone, that marble stone. That quotation is very famous since that time. "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." Until I set him free. The angel was prisoned in the stone. My friends, there is so much prisoned in the mountains, stones, hills, valleys. What are you chiseling out? God has made you on His image, and He has given you all kind of wisdom, knowledge. Are you crafting whatever is present inside? If not, you better do it. You remember in Psalm 82 verse 6, Jesus said to the Pharisees when they were discussing with Him, He said, "You are gods." He said, "Isn't it written in your law that you are gods?" It's John 14 something or 10 something. So, Michelangelo said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." My friends, Jesus gave a great text. He said a great text. "Search for the truth, and this truth will set you free." You are imprisoned in some kind of demonic powers, principalities, negative authorities. You have to come out of it first so that you can make others free from it. You can do it. Do not think that you cannot do it, because you are made on the image of great Almighty who has created the universe. When Michelangelo, he crafted things with a chisel and a hammer, he always accomplished something. He used to come to finalization, consummation, fulfillment or the completion of that art. Every moment he kept on doing good and doing good. Why? Because when you seek and search, he would make you masterminded. He, Almighty God. Michelangelo said, "It is well with me only when I have a chisel in my hand, when I have tools to craft." What are your tools to craft, my friend? Isn't the Bible great chisel and a hammer? Isn't your conscience great tool for you? Isn't your heart, your soul and spirit great tool for you? If not, pray. God will surely open the doors for you. Appreciate God's creation. The first thing that I see in his creation, the great beauty, that is the man, the human beings. Look at your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, or your neighbor, or anybody. Aren't they beautiful? God has crafted them beautiful. That they speak, they use beautiful art, and that is all because of the Creator. This planet Earth is standing like a statue of David. God has created this planet Earth, a great statue. Scientists cannot deny nothingness. God created all this from nothingness. Nothings, he didn't take nothing. Maybe a little mud from the ground, and the ground became big and made a statue. Someone created it in the beginning. That's what Genesis 1:1 says. In the beginning, somebody did something. And that somebody is our Creator. Then the Master gave chisel and hammer in the hands of his creation. You go and multiply now. You go and harvest now. That is called the image of God. Are there beginning and end? When you made a statue, when you are given a chisel and a hammer and you have to craft something, are there beginning? Just like God, in the beginning he created, and there is an end. Let's see. Beginning. Intelligent designer. God is very intelligent designer. He designed the world, and he is mighty. He is a personal. He is everybody's personal God. Nobody can live without him. If someday say they are confused, they are in chaos, they are blind. Blind, I mean by mentally blind. But his romance was in crafting, designing, painting the great beautiful statue of planet Earth. And he made us beautiful. So, what does it mean when we die? Are we finished? No, my friends. When he created us on his image, his breath is in us. His breath does not die. It lives forever. Are you doing something for his breath? The soul, life, are you doing something for that? Rabbi Shaul, or Saul of Tarsus, Apostle Paul, a great man. These days, you would hear a lot of questions by the Muslim cult, but that's okay. Because religion is a branch of philosophy, and politics at the same time is a branch of philosophy. Politics and religion, they always compare with each other side by side since the beginning of man. He says in Romans chapter 1 verse 20, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal powers and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." If tomorrow you would like to make an excuse that we do not know that Creator, you would have no words. You would have no words to make an excuse that you do not know the ultimate Creator of this world. It's true, you hear man-made theologies, man-made philosophies, man-made logic, but you have your own conscience, your own soul, your own life, which is showing you the whole world, which is showing you the sun every day, the moon every day, the stars every day, the mountains, the light, yourself, your children, your wife, your kids. What kind of excuse you would make? So that is what Rabbi Shaul is saying. Chosen to focus on the creation rather than the Creator. What happened? Further you read in Romans, these creatures, instead of choosing the Creator to worship, they chose the creation. Money, beauty, romance, poetry, many things. If you are using it as a skill for a short time, as a hobby, that's another thing. But if your mind is totally involved in it and you are lost in it, it means you are worshipping that thing. Their thinking is so limited. They took the work of the artist and they danced with the creatures rather than the Creator. They assumed artist is dead, though they did not say with their tongues. They are assuming it. Sometimes we assume it, sometimes we show it. But when we dance with the artist, even though as a sinner, the artist forgives us when we appreciate his creation. Remember, if the artist can craft, he can destroy too, because he can make another one too. It doesn't mean that he could make only one planet Earth. He can make planets and numerous planets. Look for him in the small stuff around you. Your view of the world and how it works is directly related to your view of origins. You have to go and find where you are coming from, your roots, so that you can understand the Creator. Your view of your view of origins will determine your worldview. Worldview, either he created this heaven or he didn't. Either he created this world or he didn't. If you believe that if he created, then you have to make the view, or you have to make a big picture, how you understand it. From nothingness, difficult to form a thing from nothingness. Do not hang up on how, when, why, rational questions. If you sometimes do not understand, it's better to learn, but if it's not coming in your head, leave them. Leave them alone. With the passage of time, you would automatically understand. It is our responsibility to take care of the creation. Just appease it. Love it. You would understand it. Love the Creator because he did all this for one reason, so that this creation may worship him. He's a great scientist. Artist made possibilities for the science because he's a scientist too. Sometimes just go out in the nature and spend lonely moments with him and appreciate. Automatically your heart would feel the joy. It would feel that your Creator, your Redeemer lives. Thank you so much. And take care of yourself. Take good care of yourself, because there lives the great creator in this temple.